convert the following numbers to base 2. So to convert numbers to base 2, you convert the two numbers separately. We have this part, which is the whole number part, and then we have the decimal part. You have to convert them separately. So you convert the whole number the same way you used to convert them in I don't know if it was grade 5 or 3. So you can just divide 3 by 2, and then you write your remainders this side. You even write what you normally write on top. You have the remainder here, and then you have the base here, and then you have the number here. So 2 into 3, this is 1, remainder 1, and then you divide again. 2 into 1, this is 0, remainder 1. If you don't want to do this, you can just put this one there, since you're just remaining with a 1. And then now for the whole number part, the decimal part, by the way, your answer here is 11. You get them in this direction, starting from here going upwards like that. So this is 1 and then 1. And then for the decimal part, you do something like this, and then you keep the whole numbers here, and then the decimal parts here. Let's just say decimal number like that. And then here you multiply the decimal part. So the decimal part here is 125, but we want to write it as 0.125 like this, and then multiply it by 2. So to multiply this by 2, you can let me just do it from here. Just say 125 multiplied by 2. For now you can ignore the decimal point. 2 times 5, this is 10, so you write 0, carry 1. 2 times 2, this is 4, plus 1, you have a 5. 2 times 1, you have a 2. And then since we have 3 decimal places here, you need 3 decimal places there, so that means your decimal point will be there. But of course, you need to put a 0 there. So now this is equal to 0.25. You can ignore the 0 at the end, or you can put it there if you want. And then you pick the whole number part, you put it there. So the whole number here is a 0, you write your 0. And then the decimal part is the 250. But of course, you write it as 0.250. And then you repeat the same thing using this part here. You only stop when you have a 0 this side. So I'll get this, put it here, 0.25. You can put the last 0 if you want, but I'm going to ignore it. Multiplied by 2, and then you multiply these two numbers again. So 0.25 multiplied by 2. You can even ignore this and just multiply by 25 like this. So this times this, you have a 0. That's a 10. You write 0, carry 1. This times this, that's a 4 plus 1. We have a 5. And then we have 2 decimal places on the numbers we are multiplying. So even the product should have 2 decimal places. So this is 0.50, but of course you need to put a 0 there. So this is equal to 0.50, or just 0.5. And then the whole number part is this one, the 0 here. And then the decimal part is the 50. But of course, you are not going to write it like this. You put a 0 here, like so. And then next, you do the same thing with this. You can multiply the 0.5 by 2 again. Of course, we know that 0.5 times 2 is a 1, but in case you don't, you can still do this. This times this, that's a 0. Carry 1. This times this, that's a 0. Add the 1, you have a 10. How many decimal places? We have 1, so this is just a 1.0, like this. So now you write the whole number part. The whole number part is a 1, and then the decimal part, which is a 0. But of course you write it as 0.0. So at this point you can stop, because if you get these zeros, you put them here, multiply by 2, you'll just be getting zeros. So this is where you end. And in this case we pick numbers in this direction, but in this one we go the opposite direction, like this. So the whole number part is 11, and then the decimal part is say point, and then you write the numbers in this order. So it says 0 0 1. So this is 3.125 in base 2. You're done. And then the second one, I think I can just solve 2, since these things are all similar. And once I do this, obviously you would have learned how to solve this, how to solve this. This is just like that, this is just like this, and then this is even easier. So perhaps I can just solve part C, which is a bit different. Not that it's hard, but it's just different from all the other numbers. So for this one, you can start with the whole number part, which is the 5. So you can get your 5 and use, you say, base, and then the number you are trying to convert to base 2, and then you have your remainder there. So you can say the number is 5, you are converting to base 2. So you say 2 into 5, this is 2, remainder 1. And then once again, you divide this 2 by 2. You can say 2 into 2, this is 1, remainder. There is no remainder. 2 can go into 2 without leaving any remainder. And then at this point, you can just bring this one down like so. If you want, you can still say 2 into 1, that's 0, remainder 1. It's the same thing. Once again, you pick your numbers in this direction. And then now for the decimal part, which is 625, you can bring in this table again. So the decimal part is 625, but of course we shall put a 0 here. So let's convert this to base 5, to base 2. So you can do the multiplication this side. You say 2 multiplied by 0.625. So when you multiply these two numbers, this times this, you have a 10, so you write 0, carry 1. This times this, that's a 4, plus 1, we have a 5. Then this times this is 12. So you can just say 2, carry 1. Then 2 times 0, that's 0. So you can you can just put the one you carried over. But if you ignore this, you can just say this times this, you have 10, you write that, 4, 5, and then this is 12. You can just write your 12 like that. And then because we have 3 decimal places here, we need 3 decimal places even here. So this will be 1.250. So 1.250. So remember, you have your whole numbers, and then you have your decimal numbers here. So when you check these numbers here, the whole number part is a 1. So you write your 1. By the way, your whole numbers will either be 1s or 0s or 1s, because we are in base 2. So whatever you do, your whole number will always be either a 1 or a 0, but the decimal part can be anything. So in this case we have a 250, but of course since this is a decimal part, we have to write it as 0.250. So from here you can even see that it is somehow taking us back to the first one. So these things are almost all the same. So now you can multiply this by 2 once again. So 0.25, you can either put the 0 at the end, or you can write it like this, and then you multiply the 0.25 by 2. So this times this will be 10 carry 1, so you write 0 carry 1. This times this, that's a 4, plus 1 we have a 5, then 2 times 0 we have the 0. Because we have 2 decimal places, we should have 2 decimal places there. So this is just 0.5. You are free to put the 0 there if you want. So the whole number part here is a 0, and then the decimal part is a 5. Remember, this is the decimal part, so you put 0.5 like that. Once again, you multiply this by 2, so this will simply be 1.0, or you can just do it from here like so. This times this, that's 10, you write 0 carry 1. 2 times 0, that's 0, plus 1, this is a 1. We have 1 decimal place, we should have 1 decimal place there, so this will be 1. You write the whole number part, which is a 1, and then the decimal part, which is the 0. But because this is a decimal number, you put 0.0, and you're done. So now remember, we picked the numbers in this direction. For this one, we picked them in the opposite direction. So this is 101.101 base 2. And you're done. So now you can just follow these same steps and attempt the rest of the questions. So convert the following numbers to base 2. The procedure is the same. Just start with the whole number and then deal with the decimal part. Enjoy!